Good morning, friends. Ann here. Got my cup of coffee, got the Word of God, and today's reading is Mark chapter 6, verses 14 through 29. Friends, this is a very graphic and disturbing picture of culture at this time. We are going to hear about how Herod regretted a decision that he made by following someone who was filled with resentment and rage. So friends, we read at the very first of this passage that Herod Antipas was king. He was tetrarch. And he heard about Jesus because everybody was talking about Jesus, all the miracles that Jesus had been doing, the way that he had been teaching, the lives he had been touching, the culture that had been shifting and changing. Herod heard about all of this. And he was trying to figure out, who is this Jesus? And so some of Herod's people were saying, well, maybe it's John the Baptist who's come back from the dead, or maybe it's Elijah. And he's trying to figure this out. Well, at the mention of John the Baptist, we begin to hear about what happened to John the Baptist. It says this in verse 16, when Herod heard about Jesus, he said, John, the man I beheaded, has come back from the dead. Friends, Herod was terrified because he knew that he had done something wrong. Here is kind of the story of what happened. So John the Baptist was a prophet, and he was sharing the good news. He was helping prepare people's hearts for the coming Messiah, who was Jesus. And one of the things that he had prophesied, that he had told Herod and Herodias, his wife, was that their marriage was evil. It was not right. It says this, John had been telling Herod, it is against God's law for you to marry your brother's wife. So Herodias bore a grudge against John and wanted to kill him. But without Herod's approval, she was powerless to do this. For Herod respected John, and knowing that he was a good and holy man, he protected him. Herod was greatly disturbed whenever he talked with John, but even so, he liked to listen to him. So Herod knew, even though the things that John was saying were disturbing to him, Herod knew that he was a good and honorable and holy man, and Herod was protecting him from his wife Herodias. Well, one day it was Herod's birthday, and Herodias' daughter came in and danced for Herod and all of the other men that he had gathered around in this party. And they were so pleased, they said to Herodias' daughter, I will give you anything, just name it. And Herodias' daughter went to her mother. Her mother asked for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Completely gruesome, but this is what rage and this drive for revenge and bitterness and resentment does to us when we allow it to take hold and kind of infest our lives. And so because Herod was put on the spot, even though he really was honoring John the Baptist and he was protecting John the Baptist, even though he knew that John the Baptist was a holy man, he gave into the peer pressure because he was following his wife over following what he knew to be true in his heart. And so he had Herod beheaded. It says in verse 26, then the king deeply regretted what he had said. Because of the vows he had made in front of his guests, he could not refuse her. Friends, Herod regretted what he had done, what he had said, and he went through with it anyway because he was following the wrong people. He was not following this voice that was within him that was telling him to trust what John the Baptist was saying, but instead he was following Herodias and her rage and resentment. The thing that I think is important for us is that following resentful people always takes us to places where we don't want to go. So friends, today, who are you following? Are you following the voice of God that is in your heart trying to draw you closer to him and to the truth? Or are you going to follow rage-filled, resentful people? Because if you follow those people that are filled with resentment, it is always going to take you someplace where you do not want to go. Have a good day.